Hey everybody, ThrewRedButter here, back again, not with another beer review, but today we are counting down the top 10 beers of 2025, in my humble opinion. This one's coming out a little belated, apologies for that. I actually tried to learn some video editing on my own, so I actually put together clips of my reviews. I think it's going to come out pretty decent for a beginner, so that's why it's taken a little longer than expected, gathering all the stuff, going over all of my reviews from 2025, going through my list of my ratings, etc., etc. So I figured this would be a nice, fun way. In my prior iterations of this channel, I never did a top 10. I used to do them on my written blog. I'll put a link to my top 10s in my written blog from back in the day. Still have that thing going. So, but the first time I'm doing it in video form, so pretty excited to see how this one's going to turn out. So don't be too harsh in the comments. Say whatever you want. I don't care. Whatever. I don't read the comments anyway. Sorry. So for this list, some parameters on this one. First of all, it's going to be obviously beers I reviewed in 2025. Not necessarily beers that first debuted in 2025. It's the first time I've ever reviewed them on the channel. I can tell you I've had some of these beers and any beer I reviewed on the channel from the past year. I've had them before plenty of times, but it's the first time I reviewed them on the channel in 2025. So if I had it at a bar, at a tasting or whatever, doesn't count. Didn't review it on the channel. Let's see. I know if you've been with me for a while, especially through all this year, I've reviewed a lot of beers from one particular brewery, hint hint, and I've scored them all pretty high. They're just amazing beers from an amazing brewery. But going through my list of ratings, if I just went by numerical rating for each beer, odds are the top 10 would probably be filled with 7, 8, 9 of the same brewery. So that might get a little monotonous, and, I know when I've seen top 10 lists of other beer tubers, no shade, and, half of them are from one brewery. It's like, I don't know, just seeing the same brewery over and over again. Not no disrespect to the brewery, obviously, they make great stuff and they deserve to be there, all power to it, but I'm just saying, to give it some variety and to mix it up, I'm allowing a brewery to be on this list more than once, but I'm limiting it to one style per brewery. So one IPA, one type of IPA, because I should say, when I say IPA, I'm including single IPA, imperial IPA, triple IPA, fruit-infused IPA, milkshake IPA, etc. You know what I mean? Etc., etc. So one style per brewery, and they can appear on it more than once if they want to. So that's what I'm going with right here. Let's see. That encompasses everything. And to kind of go back to what I was just saying, to give it some variety, that also means that a lot of beer I scored really high is going to be left off the list. That's just the way it's going to happen. And you'll also notice, keen viewers who are paying attention to the ratings, you'll see like, oh, you actually scored this beer higher than this one, but you're putting the lower scored one a bit above. Going back through my reviews, when I spot a beer, I look at one, I'm like, oh, I really remember that one. And then there's another beer that I probably scored higher. It's like, oh yeah, that was also great, but like it didn't stand out when I saw it again. Something like that, or a beer that surprised me, I might put a little higher than, a beer of a style I probably expected something to be good. Whether or not we should expect something to be good, I don't know. That's a whole argument for another time, but gotta take a sip of my beverage. Treehouse Julius. Just a classic. And as you can see, at the time of this filming, it's in a old school can. Because again, at the time, redundant, at the time of this filming, this past week they had a Julius week. So they released a bunch of variations on Julius, had a bunch of Julius merch, including bringing back the old school can. Very cool. I'm not sure if this is the first time they've done this old school design as a full wrapped proper can, because I remember this design being just on a label back when they used to just slap labels on silver cans. The classic days, but. Good stuff right there. So let me just pull this up. So in addition to the top 10, I'm going to go through some honorable mentions right now and some breweries I want to highlight from the past year of reviewing beers on here. In terms of breweries I want to highlight, I got Revolution Brewing out of Chicago. I reviewed their Death Star Bourbon Barrel Aged Stout, Straight Jacket, a Bourbon Barrel Aged Barley Wine, and the Rye Way to Heaven, I believe also Bourbon Barrel Aged. Rye, I believe they call it a rye wine. In that review, I go over like, I've never had a rye wine, I've had a wheat wine and a lager wine. It might just be a different variation. I didn't pick my nose, I scratched it. Of a wheat wine. Regardless, I believe I said it in one of those reviews, might have been in my Straight Jacket review. Revolution Brewing, they do great barrel-aged beers, and they're nationally distributed. It might be the best nationally distributed, year-round, barrel-aged offerings in the country. They're just a great brewery I had to highlight. I rated their beers very highly, just great stuff all around from them. Also want to give a shout-out to Trillium Brewing. I'm not breaking new ground when I say they're one of the best producers of hoppy beer and stouts out there. I did give very high ratings to two of their double IPAs. One was a collaboration. Oh, I'm so bad at this. Sorry, I can't remember who they did a collaboration with, but gave that a really high score. It's not on the top 10. Again, just going through my list, and I picked out the ones that wowed me. Not that they didn't wow me, but you know what I mean. Still, I reviewed them on the channel. Give them a shout out. Amazing brewery. Got to give some highlights to Treehouse Brewing's non-IPAs and non-stouts. I reviewed the Warm Your Bones, which was a winter warmer, the Slow Burn, a Rush beer. Or is that a... No, that's a... Yeah, I think that's a Rush beer, yeah. Big Bear Barrel Blend, a blend of barrel-aged brown ales. And King of the Mountain, a Bock. Straight up Bock. Again, I know I love their IPAs and stouts, as you can see here. You might even see a few on the upcoming list, but got to give a shout out to their lagers and their old world styles, and especially their smoke beers. Unbelievable smoke beers from Treehouse. If you're skipping those in favor of the IPAs, no judgments, but you got to check them out. You got to check out the smoke beers, the lagers, the Kolsch's, California Commons. They just do those styles just as well as their IPAs and stouts. You got to check them out. What else do I have here? All right, yep. And in terms of honorable mention beers themselves, I'm going to go through. I got Boulevard Brewing Proper Pour, a double barrel-aged Imperial Stout in bourbon barrels and wine barrels. Hardywood Christmas Morning, a gingerbread milk stout with, I think it had honey and might even had chocolate in it. Just great stuff there. Firestone Walker 28th Anniversary Ale. I've said it before in all my reviews of the anniversary beers. Amazing barrel-aged blended beers. 28 was no exception to being great. Awesome stuff. Founders CBS. I did two reviews. One of the 2025 vintage, which they brought back the beer in 2025, which was great. Just a huge chocolate and coffee bomb. And then I also did a vintage 2017 bottle, which still held up very well. So Founders CBS in both forms. Dogfish Head 120-minute IPA, a 2024 vintage. Just amazing how that beer, I believe it's over 15% of I guess you would call a triple IPA, holds up after over a year. Extremely hoppy and bitter and acidic, just great tasting stuff right there. Toppling Goliath Firestoker, a smoked beer from, I forget what kind of beer it is though. It's not a stout, but just had amazing chocolate, coffee, and dark fruit notes. Firestoker, I think that was 16%, a huge bastard of a beer. Then I want to give a shout out to some pumpkin beers that I scored highly. All got over the 8s. We got Opa Opa Brewing Poker Face, Stellwagen Brewing Pumpkin Pie Frosty, a Pumpkin Pie Vanilla Bean Double IPA, and then respect to Sam Adams Jacko Pumpkin Ale, a beer that was heavy on the pumpkin spices and the cinnamon and was probably more flavorable than the majority of pumpkin beers I did, despite the fact that Jacko comes in at under 5%. So Jacko is a personal favorite pumpkin beer for me. That wraps up the honorable mentions. Other than that, 2026, just going to keep doing what I'm doing. Hopefully you guys still like it. Other than that, going to try and cut down on my uhs and my pauses, and you'll notice in the top 10 as I was going through all the footage, I think my favorite word is wow. That's really my go-to descriptor for amazing beers. I just say wow. Maybe I'll try and, mix that up a little bit. But yeah, just get, spoiler alert, just get used to hearing that over and over again. Sorry. But I think other than that, that's it. The channel has grown since I started coming back and doing these. Thanks to everybody who has liked, subscribed, and commented. Other than that, I think that just about wraps up this intro for the top 10 beers. So without further ado, as the kids say, I present to you ThrewRedButter's top 10 beers of 2025. Cheers. This is the Ridgeway Brewing 7.5%, aptly titled this time of year, Lump of Coal. Dark Holiday Stout. Much more than you deserve for Christmas this year. Ooh. That is like a smooth, cold brew, black iced coffee. That is very nice. Wow. I like that a lot. It still retains the flavors of those coffee grounds and black coffee and the roasted malts, but there's no unpleasant, black coffee bitterness you get in the aftertaste. This is insanely smooth and flavorful. This is really good. Idiot. Going huge on this one. 9.5 out of 10. I think it's an excellent, superb English stout for all the reasons I've said before. Tonight we have a variation on their Haze IPA. This is a triple IPA version coming in 9.4% alcohol by volume. It's the Treehouse Brewing Evil Haze, just in time for Halloween. It smells sweet like candy, almost like, I don't know. I don't want to say like sweet tarts, maybe not something that's up, but like spree candy. Let's not wait any longer. Let's get a taste on Evil Haze. Cheers. Wow. Oh man, this one's bringing a smile to my face. God, all of those peaches, that stone fruit. I want to just spray this. I want to Febreze this on my couch. Wow. I'll just stay here all day. Just intense, delicious bitterness all throughout. Middle, front, middle, back, on the finish. It lingers, but it also lingers with that sweet confectionery, like candy notes I was getting. I think the Haze, in all its variations, has the most to offer and tastes the best out of all of them. And it's the best. It's the best of the Haze series, in my personal opinion. For everything I've said, oh my god. Best Haze variant, in my opinion. Get this if you still can. I'll be damned if that does not smell like a blueberry muffin. I could stop right there on the aroma. Wow. Promises made, promises kept. That's a lot of blueberry. Let's get a taste on Blueberry Muffin Yeti. Cheers. The blueberry is lingering. It won't go away, and I like it. Interestingly, what I'm getting here, again, it doesn't say exactly everything it's made with. I'm getting a huge vanilla presence on this one, and it is fantastic. A lot of chocolate, coffee bitterness on the back end, Get more roasted malt from the base beers. The base beers showing up on the taste was non-existent. It was extinct on the nose. This is it's fun. This is a fun beer. I can't even put it into words anymore. I'm gushing. I really like this beer. Very excited. This one, at the time I had it and I did my Untapped review, I said it was in my top 5 of Treehouse beers, all beers, so that's really saying something, so I'm really looking forward to this. We are pleased. God, I love these Treehouse smoke beers. The other smoke beer I did from them in this latest iteration of the channel was their Slow Burn, I believe, the Rausch beer. Another great smoked beer. I'm getting flashbacks of that. Love it. Everything from the nose. Oh, got some like plum and dark fruit in the back end. Yeah. Yeah, maple smoked malts. Just a huge, intense sweetness on this one. Get those notes of maple syrup, dark fruits, as I mentioned before. I mean, some people don't like smoked beers. I mean, you can just cut those people out of your lives right now. I mean, I'll stick by what I said. This is the top 5 personal favorite Treehouse beer for me. I love this beer so much. Non-barrel aged, non-flavored imperial stouts, big boys that have that like almost like cigar smoke kind of quality. Those are like what I enjoy in a standard imperial stout. It's like this: chocolate, coffee, tobacco, smoke, and very bitter. Like almost hoppy in a way. You can taste the hop bitterness in this. Like included with that hop bitterness, it's like almost fruity in a way. Like black cherry, or even red grape. Wow. Other than that, yeah, it's smooth and silky and viscous, velvety floss, soft, fluffy. Yeah, I don't know what else to say. I love just a good, great base. Not even base, that's the wrong word. Just a standard. Like, it's what I want in an Imperial Stout. Non-flavored, non-barrel aged. It's with an Imperial Stout aged in bourbon barrels. We'll keep the format. 14.6 alcohol by volume for the 2023 Goose Island Bourbon County brand stout. Deep back there is some char and tobacco. Hasn't lost anything in the 2 years of aging. Just a chocolate and bourbon and cherry and dark fruit. Oh my god. Milk chocolate, dark chocolate. Give me a minute. Oak wood. I'm being taken to another place right now. Okay. Beautiful, baby. Beautiful. It's one of my favorite, if not my favorite beer. Alesmith Brewing Speedway Stout. The original. Yeah, that is just a fresh cup of black iced coffee right there. Pinkies up. That is very, yeah. Whew. That is a very roasty Imperial Stout. Wow. Not just from the coffee, which is there. It's just got those classic roasty qualities of straight up Imperial Stouts. Almost has like a pipe tobacco and char kind of flavors to it. Coffee with cream. Like I'm getting like a vanilla flavor to this one as well. Wow. 12%. Would not guess that at all. Wow, this one drinks very easy. Yeah, just a big, thick, full body. Woo, man. I have missed this beer so much. Wow. Good. When an Imperial Stout without barrel aging can give you all that char and tobacco, chef's kiss a million times. So that's probably what's blowing me away the most about this one, is how it can do that without being aged in a barrel. That's the hallmark of a great Imperial Stout. Non-barrel aged Imperial Stout. Not much info on the bottle itself. The Untapped description says it's double dry hopped with over 6 pounds of hops per barrel. This is the Maine Beer Company Dinner Double IPA. Bright citrus and orange on this one. Wow. Incredible amount of bitterness on the taste, but deliciously so. It was very subtle on the nose, but on the taste, it is the first thing. The nose, the oranges, and the citrus were the first thing, and bitterness was kind of on the back end. This is just all bitterness up front, but really, really fresh bitter hops. And then right behind that, there's the citrus. Oh, and it has that great, like, sherbet orange cream flavor to it. Oh, this one's firing on all cylinders. Even a touch of grass and flowers and potpourri. But again, bitterness on the back end, on the finish, and more of that orange cream and sherbet. Man, like, it is... Not sure I want to say, like, balanced and throw around that term too loosely, but it is so complex. I'll throw that out there, but it hits everything you want in so many different tasting double IPAs, but it's all in one, and it's not a mess. It is a beautiful, cohesive unit. 6. Vitamin C 6. That's pretty wild. I'm going to tell you right now. I don't know. I don't, as much as I like, peanut butter in beers, this might be the most peanut forward or peanut butter forward beer I've ever smelled. Let's get a taste of the Vitamin C 6. Happy belated anniversary. Cheers. That is something unique I have never experienced before. But it's working very well. It won't go away. Wow, that lingers forever. Again, more of that whiskey barrel, almost kind of bordering on bourbon, even. Wow. Oh, wow. Who would have thought salted chocolate covered pretzels would work in an Imperial Stout? Jesus. That is unique, special, and delicious at the same time. Wow. This is awesome. It's awesome and unique and something I've never had before. Pure Barrel Aged Imperial Stout features standout barrels between 18 and 26 months old, masterfully blended to create a stout of beauty, elegance, balance, and enjoyability. This is the Treehouse Brewing, and get that one, Truth Barrel Aged Imperial Stout. Bourbon, oak, chocolate, cherry. Oh, that pipe tobacco. But yeah, it smells like a stellar barrel-aged Imperial Stout, but let's get to the taste. So, the taste on the Treehouse Brewing Truth. Okay. Okay. One sip in, it hits my lips, and this thing friggin' was a thud. Oh my god, this is ludicrously thick on the body. We'll get to... Oh, baby. Okay, alright, stop. There is so much barrel character on this. There is... Wow. Tobacco and... dark chocolate, and vanilla, and oak, and wood, and smoke. This is insane. This is fucking insane. I'm sorry for swearing. Oh my god. I'm taking a sip, and it's a flush of bourbon and all of those flavors, but there's no burn. It is so goddamn smooth on this one. I can only take one tiny sip at a time. The mouthfeel is that thick. Yeah, wow. Wow. It's a special beer. This is incredible. This beer is insane. In terms of a straight-up bourbon barrel-aged imperial stout, no other adjuncts or flavors added to it, this might be the best I've ever had. 10 out of 10. Treehouse Brewing. Truth.